I actually wrote about your process in depth and how much it meant to me for my scholarship renewal letter that I submitted to the department. And so I just wanted to read maybe a little bit of that
Mm,
because I think it puts into words what it means to me a little bit more. Is that okay?
of course.
Okay, so I one of my I wrote multiple sections, but this is one for yours. So this year, I had the honor of being casted in second year graduate student Sherry Lynn's House and Breaking MFA Thesis. Sherry's piece explores the complex relationships and communal living through a narrated perspective on the intimate interactions that happen around or seated at the dinner table. Inspired by our own personal traumas and life stories, Sherry Process strives to foster community around shared experiences through commentary on the violation of sacred spaces. Sherry's work has challenged me creatively and physically the past 2 semesters by pushing both the rigorous embodiment of breaking, popping, and house mediums and emphasizing the deeply collaborative hip hop environment as critical to her process and choreographic narrative. This opportunity to train in new styles, attack contemporary issues through creative lenses, and bring my own experiences to the stage has been such a rewarding experience.
I really enjoyed the photo shoots. If I could like pick out a specific,
Mhm.
because that was a time where we could just like all be ourselves and like be goofy and support each other. Cause I like feel like that was like the most crucial part. So like our whole experience was like how all of us like worked together and like got to know each other and like built a bond as like a group.
I learned the choreo because it was super therapeutic moment for me. I love pushing our limits of vulnerability that day and the emotion enhancing activities we did with facial expressions and eye contact leading up to it. But yeah, like that choreo was a little more up my alley. And for some reason, I remember at that moment, it was just like a huge release. And well, I think a lot of times recently, dance has been like I'm taking from it, and that was just like letting go. So it was a nice switch up for me.
I think one of the things that I really cherished was the memory where we did Just Dance and you made us do it in certain ways, and I hated it, but I loved it at the same time. You wanted us in like a line or in a diagonal, and I couldn't do it, and everyone else was doing it, and I was just like, how is everyone else doing this? And I'm failing. And that was just like a moment to myself that I found like was so funny, but like awesome.
Creating the table sequence with Kevin, it was like a 9 p.m. on like a Thursday night. We were exhausted, but like I just feel like that movement was super dope, and like we've never really like collabed together since like comp class, and we didn't even that much, so it was really cool for our brains to like come together. And he was like, no, I don't like that, and I was like, what about this? And I was like, I don't really like, and we were just like, it was so open, and I just really loved it.
Yeah, I think just building trust in myself and other people that this is a different process and I can work in this process and be comfortable in not knowing. And I think a lot of times I want to know where it's going, but like just trusting in that process I think will definitely serve me if I'm giving the opportunity to do something like this in the future. So.
I came into this year having some sort of idea that I wanted to pursue arts management, but not really understanding what that could entail or like how that would affect me in my day-to-day life. But my work on this project and then going forward from like my involvement in the dance department and working on other projects in the dance department have really helped me like kind of solidify my interest in the management and development process behind work and behind dances and behind the artistic intent of certain performances and projects. So yeah, I think without that, it would have been a lot more difficult for me to understand what I was getting myself into.
We had each other's back on the hard days and brought good energy whenever possible, which made the space productive and uplifting. And I always just left feeling like I accomplished something, or I've just like bettered myself or other people, which was great.
This project has made me think a lot more about something that I think I took for granted, which is community. So like, not just like the hip hop community or the dance community, but just like the community we make ourselves through like just like meeting people and forming these relationships that we really take for granted sometimes. And I just found that this project has made me think a lot more about how supportive people can really be, and how important it is to like really surround yourself with people that you know and can trust and can like really relate to on different days. This process taught me a lot about like storytelling through like different exercises, things like that we've done over this project.
This is a testament to you, Sherry. I think like the way that you went about this project with talking about your family experience, and just jumping into that, like, I would say in like the very first couple of rehearsals, I found that to be so valuable to the experience because, you know, we were all trying to figure out what kind of story you were trying to create, and it would have been hard if we didn't know a little bit more about you. And so, you know, you really made this a personal project upon yourself, but then like also on the artists that you worked with, because, you know, we just felt like, you know, we wanted to honor that story and tell it in the most truthful way.
Balancing my multiple roles in this project as the producer, grant writer, artistic director, rehearsal director, and choreographer, that was a real challenge. The latter role as a choreographer, I felt fell by the wayside more than I would have liked, but it forced me to rely on you all, my dancers and cast, who are incredible in their own right. The challenge for me was just letting go of some control because it was literally physically, mentally, and emotionally impossible for me to do it all. That's why I'm super grateful for the cast that I have with you.
I love like literalness when learning dance, which is super like, that doesn't go together a lot of the time. So yeah, just for reasons of like embodying my musicality in a new way was really challenging, because that's like probably like my forte is just like honing into that, but like taking that craft and like trying to like make it into something new in a new style was really difficult, and that dissonance like messed with me.
The journals that we did at the beginning of the very beginning really caught me up, because just listening to your guys' responses like completely threw me back, because I wrote responses that were just like very vague and just very unclear, and that like really made me like struggle to think about like what I'm gonna do with my life and stuff like that. And like that entire thing with like the journaling and reflecting was just really difficult for me because of that. Because I've like just never sat down and thought about like what I'm gonna do, or like simple things like who am I, like how that kept me up, like what the heck. Yeah.
This community building aspect in Detroit has really allowed me to formulate like greater perspectives on service and what we can do as an academic community in communities like Detroit.
I didn't know a lot of you guys until Sherry brought us together, so that's been really awesome too, because otherwise I would not have had the opportunity to work with any of you.
This was a completely new process and approach to choreography for me. I wanted to focus on development of community, skills, and storyline or storytelling rather than the product. I knew that the product would come, but the way we get there was something I wanted to give myself and our cast room to explore.
This project was really good for me to like see how much I love house dance, and like how it's like something that I've kind of like gotten exposure to my whole life, but like never really knew that that's like where it came from, like just like through convention training and like things like that. And like I realized that a lot of like movement that I go to for like social dance has like was already house dancing, and I just like didn't know it. And it's just like such like a joyful form of dance.
One of the unique characteristics of your MFA, Sherry, was that you took people from like random backgrounds, like you had me and Morgan, and then you also have all these incredible dance majors who have like degrees in other departments, and your background itself, like you brought together a group of people who share the common goal of wanting to integrate with each other through dance.
It didn't feel like there was like a hierarchy in the room. It kind of felt like we were all at the same level and we're all contributing. Like obviously it was like your idea and like your vision, but just like being able to contribute to it and like not be scared of like having our voice heard and things like that was really valuable.
You brought something in for my birthday and I was just like, wow, yeah, and it was like so nice, and I was just like, wow, I don't deserve any of this, or like, you know, but you know, I think that was something I'm gonna take away, like you and your like tactics in terms of how you got us to all love each other so easily.